The recreation hall of the Galactic Academy hummed with the familiar evening conversations of various species. Zixara, a slender Valonian with vibrant green skin and elegant crystalline horns, moved effortlessly between the study pods with her characteristic poise. Her silver eyes glimmered with playful intent as they focused on the solitary figure bent over his data pad in the corner. Marcus Chun had spent 3 months at the academy, yet he still favored solitude over the tumultuous interactions of mingling among different species. The other cadets regarded him as rather ordinary. Typical stature for a person, slender physique, dark hair perpetually a bit tousled from running fingers through it in moments of exasperation with quantum mechanics formulas. He was subdued, courteous, and completely unremarkable, precisely as he preferred it. "Observe this," Zixara murmured to her group of companions, a blend of insect-like younglings and ethereal Nephrim encased in their mobility suits. "Humans are meant to be these remarkable fighters, aren't they? Let's observe how this one manages an unexpected twist." The challenge had begun quite harmlessly. The Valonians had a reputation for their light-hearted spirit, and playfully sitting on someone as a jest was seen as innocent amusement in their society. What Zixara failed to grasp was the notion of personal space that humans revered, or the ingrained instincts of fight or flight that had ensured humanity's survival through countless ages of evolution. She glided toward Marcus' study pod with a quiet grace, her bare feet whispering against the polished floor. With a playful laugh, she settled herself right in his lap, anticipating perhaps a surprised gasp or a bewildered mumble. Instead, Marcus' body became completely motionless. The data pad fell from fingers that had become unexpectedly still. His breathing, once calm and steady, ceased completely for a full 3 seconds. Upon its return, it exhibited a sense of control, precision, and a calculated approach. Zixara sensed the shift right away. The person beneath her had shifted from gentle, intellectual form into something that resembled tightly wound steel wires. Every muscle engaged at once, forming a steadfast base that rendered her earlier view of humans as soft and squishy utterly foolish. "You have about 2 seconds to explain yourself," Marcus stated, his voice lowering to a tone that resonated through the very ground beneath them. It wasn't loud. In fact, it was hardly more than a whisper, yet every conversation in the recreation hall came to an abrupt halt. The Valonian's confidence dissipated like the early fog. This was not the response she had anticipated from the reserved individual who consistently expressed regret whenever someone else collided with him. The gestures, the inflection, the abrupt, watchful quietness. Every instinct shouted that she had erred gravely in her judgment. It was merely a jest," she stammered, striving to uphold her playful facade, even as her skin started to transform into the pale blue indicative of Valonian trepidation. Marcus's hand glided effortlessly to her wrist, a gentle touch rather than a grip, yet the sensation was as if it bore the weight of an ominous fate. Humor, a fascinating idea in human society. Humor usually doesn't include violence. Zixara's voice trembled. Around them, other students were retreating, their senses alert to the sudden surge of pheromones, bioelectricity, and other signs that signaled a predator had just come to life. Unwelcome physical interaction aimed at shocking, embarrassing, or asserting control. Marcus's grip remained steady, yet she sensed the latent power within, akin to being beside a nuclear reactor and perceiving the subdued energy vibrating just below the exterior. "In my realm, such matters have traditionally been settled in ways that leave a lasting impact." Professor Velter, the aged Zephyrian responsible for the evening's events, approached with careful steps. His appendages quivered with anxious vigor as he confronted the matter at hand. "Cadet Chen, might we engage in a reasoned conversation about this?" "We are exercising reason," Marcus responded, remaining still, his voice steady and calm. "I am meticulously analyzing threat evaluations, response strategies, and likelihood frameworks for 17 distinct methods to address the ongoing scenario." quite logical. The nonchalant manner in which he referenced 17 particular situations sent a chill down Zixara's spine. This wasn't mere display of aggression. It was a hunter articulating its reasoning. The intriguing aspect, Marcus persisted, his thumb now drawing delicate circles on her wrist, which felt more menacing than a knife at her throat, is that it appears everyone here has overlooked the original reason for humanity's invitation to the Galactic Academy. Professor Velter's voice resonated with a hint of newfound understanding. The siege of Kepler 442b, Marcus's recognition was scarcely a whisper. 47 hours, vastly outnumbered, encircled, resources depleted, help 6 weeks distant. He paused, allowing the historical facts to linger in the atmosphere like fine dust. Are you interested in the findings of the official report regarding human combat effectiveness? Silence prevailed, and there was no necessity for a response. Every species in the galaxy was familiar with the tale, recounting how one human battalion had defended a stronghold against overwhelming challenges. Not by means of advanced technology or strategic genius, but by relentless, unwavering ferocity when faced with adversity. It was determined, Marcus stated with meticulous accuracy, that humans have a distinctive psychological mechanism. When faced with danger, they don't merely retaliate, they evolve. The neural pathways that give rise to poetry and philosophy can also transform into a perspective that regards violence as a technical issue to be addressed with precision. Zixara became aware of her trembling hands. The person beneath her radiated an energy that seemed ready to erupt at any moment. Marcus concluded that the report advised a high degree of caution when engaging with individuals in tense circumstances. It explicitly cautioned against unexpected physical interaction. The stillness lingered until Professor Velter broke it with a throat-clearing sound. Perhaps, Cadet Zixara, you might prefer to go back to your designated study space? She nodded with urgency, yet as she attempted to rise, Marcus's hold stayed firm. For a brief instant, he raised his gaze to her, and in that moment, she perceived something within his deep-set eyes that triggered the primal fears ingrained in her very being. I want to ensure that there are no misconceptions regarding boundaries as we move ahead. There are no confusions, she murmured. Good, the hold loosened, and immediately Marcus returned to his usual self. A student with a hint of disarray, offering an apologetic smile, their gentle demeanor re-emerging as if a mask is settling back into position. Apologies for the oversight, everyone. What was our last discussion regarding quantum mechanics? As the recreation hall gradually resumed its usual bustle, Zixara made her way back to her friends, her legs feeling unsteady beneath her. The other students kept their distance from Marcus more than ever, and she observed that various species were discreetly revising their personal records on human engagement guidelines. Marcus picked up his data pad and continued his meticulous work, a soft tune escaping his lips as he focused intently. However, at this point, it became clear to all what the Academy instructors had endeavored to convey during the orientation. Humans were not merely survivors. They had evolved into the pinnacle of predators, mastering the art of civilization. And for humanity, civilization has always been a matter of choice.